At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me, it's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
All right.
This is episode 676, titled Scraggy, Hatched to be Wild, or translated from Japanese, the wild child that hatched from the egg. You know,
that's not horrible.
That's not bad. The wild child that hatched from the egg. That's short, sweet, and to the point, Doug.
That's not bad, honestly. I mean, I'm notoriously tough on these translations.
So, all right, everyone. How are you doing, Doug? This is our second episode that we're doing in a row. And how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm curious because you said 40 minutes. So
We'll get there. Because I'm sure it won't take us long to get through our history lesson. But I'm still willing on taking that challenge, but we'll see where we land. But yeah, I'm good, Doug. I'm sitting here. I'm awaiting this snowstorm. Apparently, we're supposed to be getting a shit ton of snow, and I shouldn't be able to open my door and walk outside in the morning because the snow's going to be so high. But yeah, it's just rain right now. But watch in a couple hours, I'm going to get that text from you, or you're going to get that text from me. Well, shit. Because they said this storm is coming. Hey, you want to know the kicker of it, Doug? I was speaking to my dad a couple hours ago, and my father, he lives up in Wisconsin, right? And Wisconsin, they notoriously get a lot more snow than what we get. You know, they are forecasted to getting less than an inch today.
no kidding.
No kidding. They're not getting any of the snow that we're about to get. We're about to get hit, and they're about to be sitting out in the sun in their bathing suits. For what?
I doubt that, but so the East Coast just got hit.
Yes.
Not too long ago.
Yes.
So is it coming straight from the right and it's not hitting the upper north?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure, bro. I couldn't even tell you. I've just been looking at my Weather Channel app at just what the forecast is forecasting for us. And let's see, I can look at this right now. Oh, yeah. Wisconsin's not getting shit. Yeah, they're not.
Well, there you go.
Let's see. Apparently, the Weather Channel is calling this the 2,000-mile mess of snow and ice. And it's funny because as a lot of people are getting just like ice or they're getting snow, depending on what part of Illinois you are, we are one of the very few that is getting all of it. We're getting snow, we're getting rain, we're getting ice, we're getting below freezing. We're literally we're I'm looking at this map right now. Illinois is literally the shit state right now. Man, and I keep telling my wife one of these days she's gonna get sick and tired of this, and she's gotta listen to me. But I keep telling her, let's move to Florida. Let's do it. We can pack our stuffs yesterday and be out there 2 days ago. So
You don't want to go to Florida.
yes, I do.
No, you don't want to go to Florida. You want to be in Florida for the weather, but then you realize, all these Florida man headlines were no bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I'll be.
Or you become the Florida man, and I'm sitting there going, that surprises me not one bit.
What is that supposed to mean, Doug? What is the Florida man?
I could just see you, getting busted for trying to walk through the McDonald's drive-through riding an alligator shirtless.
Dude, I would see an alligator out there and be like, this is some shit. Fucking black people don't mess with freaking alligators. You stay away from me. And I'll be like, chomp. I'm like, I'm running. But all right, everybody. I put us on a little time crunch to see because there's literally a bunch of nothing happening in today's episode. So it's gonna be fairly easy. We'll see how the review ends up going. But all right, enough about weather, because by the time this comes up, the weather is going to be irrelevant. So today's episode came out January 20th, 2011, and here in the States, May 28th, 2011. So there was literally a 4-month period between these episodes. Literally. So that being said, we're basically in the timeline that these we're actually getting ready to come up to an episode that is just in Japan. Oh wait, I will talk to you off air. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it aired or not. But we'll find out. Somebody tweet us, because you guys like to tweet us if we're wrong or something, or if we're confused. Hikari, a new journey / Nibby Jim, the greatest danger. It's 2 episodes from now. Can someone please let me know what that is? I mean, I'll do my due diligence and I'll try to remember once we're done recording. But if I do forget, can one of our nice little Twitter friends who's listening to this episode please message us?
That would be 19.
Yes. Wait. You said 19. No, it's
2 episodes.
Yeah, two episodes after now. It's called Hikari, a new journey / Nibby Jim, the greatest danger. Yes. Okay. Maybe.
God damn it. It either is or it isn't.
Well, it looks like it aired, but it looks like it didn't air. So, I mean, it looks like it may have aired just one time, but we never saw that episode after. But I don't think that is not the Team Rocket episode. So I'm just trying to figure it out because it never aired here in the US. So any of our friends out there that are Pokey nerds just like we are, if you can give me a hand and letting me know what's going on there. Other than that, my good friend Doug, am I going first or second this week for the May 28th? Mine was from 1983.
Mine is from 1957.
All right, you are going first.
So on this day, May 28th, in the year of our Lord, 1957, the National League formally approves the move of the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants to Los Angeles and San Francisco, respectively.
Oh. Okay. You want to elaborate on that?
How so?
So what all does that really mean for the league?
Well, so it expanded the league out west because before this, I didn't really prepare.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was. I'm so sorry. You don't need to elaborate. All of our sports fans would know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, it opened the door for West Coast expansion. Like, I mean,
Oh,
um, you didn't have anything going out that far. So, like, most of the travel was done. Yeah, I would imagine via train and maybe a little bit of puddle jumper airplanes. But you're talking taking trips from Los Angeles to New York. So you're crossing the country. Um,
gotcha. Okay.
you know, in the late '50s, you hadn't quite hit Texas yet. So it basically just kind of opened up the map. It's um, kind of like when they finally brought um hockey to Arizona. It's like, oh, there's markets out here. So now you've got like, well, I guess it was in LA first, and then you bring it to Arizona, and now they're doing gangbusters out in Las Vegas. It's all about
Facts.
expansion, which all boils down to money.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, the Dodgers and the Giants have. I mean, they were successful franchises when they were in New York, but they've gone on to become like tentpole franchises. San Francisco was on that run of winning World Series in even numbers, and the Dodgers just won the 2020 World Series, which I think we're all collectively calling the pandemic, the 60 game season, the asterisk, and that sound you just heard was every listener that's a Dodgers fan turning us off. So we'll see that next week. Um, prove me wrong. Win a regular. What happened this year? You lost in the anyway. I'm swinging today.
Yeah,
So
you are.
get me out of here.
All right. Well, mine was from 1983, where Ricky, the parody song by Weird Al Yankovic, hits number 63. And me and you were joking off air, it must have been a slow week because since when does something make headlines for making it to number 63, Doug?
Yeah, that because I skimmed past it and I was like, I just kind of assumed that it was like, oh, it must have hit like number one, and then I went for 63. Didn't even know it went that far.
But Weird Al Yankovic, for some of our newer listeners that might not know who he is a very popular artist who has um, made parodies of multiple songs. And I mean, you're talking back to Michael Jackson all the way up to the latest with Miley Cyrus. And come surprisingly, while doing a little bit of research, the man's still touring, Doug.
Yeah, that's what kind of took me off guard. Is he's got to be like in his 60s.
For real.
How old are you gray
You're gonna
haired?
look it up,
He's
Doug.
60.
Look it.
Yeah, he's 60. He's 62. Yeah.
Okay, so he's up there. So, but apparently he loves what he does because he's still out there doing it. I mean, he just released a track last year with Miley Cyrus. So, or I mean, with a parody of Miley Cyrus. It's a parody of the Party in the USA, and it's called Party in the CIA. So,
Okay.
yeah, but he's done other songs like White and Nerdy. He's done a song called Fat. The Saga Begins. It's a freaking Star Wars parody. He did a parody to Beat It, and it's called Eat It. So nice little caveat and hat tip to Weird Al Yankovic. It's probably the only time that he's probably going to be on this show. But yeah, I was just surprised, just as you are, that um, he made headlines by making it to number 63 on the top music at that time, Doug.
Uh, Slow news day, like you said.
For real. Are you ready to jump into this week's episode?
I definitely am.
All right, everybody. So we start this week's episode with Ash just oohing and awing over his brand new badge. And I mean, it's a basic. I mean, I think that badge should have been the first badge that he got, because this other badge that he has, Doug, looks so much better.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. But
100%.
we go straight from that over to Axu being Axu, and it's walking over to the egg. You know what I want to point out real quick? So apparently there's more gyms than what other trainers have. Why does Ash's badge book only limit him to going to those 8 gyms?
Because they understand who Ash is.
Okay, Ash. The badges that you get will fit exactly into these cases.
Don't you go deviating on us.
I know.
I won't.
So, but Axel is walking over, and he's walking over to the backpacks, and he's looking at the egg, and he's oohing and awing over at the egg, and he's getting all excited, and the egg is cracking, and then out of nowhere it starts to glow, and boy does it glow. And as it's glowing, it throws Axu off, and Axu just goes flying back, and Axu's like, look, 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 the egg, it's glowing, it's glowing. And they all take a look, and Iris is like, yeah, it is glowing. And Ash's like, it's true. And then we skip forward. They're all holding the egg. I mean, Ash is holding the egg, and he's holding it up. He's like, I can't wait to see what kind of Pokemon this is. And boy, was I kind of let down when this Pokemon was born. unless
Just a bit.
unless he's going to um unless he's going to be like a main focus in this series. Like, I don't let's just get on into who he is before we start talking about it. But they take the egg out of the little plastic or glass container. They put it on top of
First
a
mistake.
what's up?
First mistake.
Yes. And they put it on top of a cloth, and the egg is getting ready to hatch. They're all excited, and they're like, actually, you're going to be a big brother. So
Not how that works.
we finally find out that Axu is a boy, because we've been calling it an it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even track that.
So
I didn't even, yeah.
yeah, Axu is indeed a boy. And Axu gets so happy, and he's jumping up and down, and he trips on his own 2 feet, and he falls forward, and he knocks the egg, and the egg goes tumbling down a hill, because why wouldn't they be on a hill with an egg taking it out? But the egg goes tumbling down, and they all go chasing after it. But Pikachu is there to catch it. Pikachu is running, 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 and then it pops up in the air, and Pikachu takes one big quick attack dive and just goes wah, and goes and catches this egg, but this egg goes onto a leaf so gracefully, and gets flung from the leaf, and Pikachu for the catch. And Pikachu catches the egg, because it's a kid show. Doug?
Oh, and that egg was heading towards a really jagged rock, and it
Yes.
would have smashed open for sure. So they make sure the Pikachu's okay, and then Ash says, okay, but give the egg a once over, and he kind of does a quick, he looks to the side, and he looks under, and he's like, oh, it's to be okay, and Iris and Axu are apologetic and um they apologize and Ash is like, well, shit happens, but if that egg would have cracked, it would have been a different story. And
For real.
all that excitement and tumbling and rolling causes the egg to basically go into the final stages and doesn't really hatch so much as just kind of
Just there.
materializes and comes out of the egg, and we find out that it's a Scraggy.
The shedding Pokemon.
And if you're not watching this episode with us, Scraggy looks to be lizardish, and it's holding up the bottom half of its skin, kind of like loose-fitting trousers, and hence the shedding Pokemon, which is kind of lazy if you ask me.
Just a little bit. Like, this Pokemon kind of, like, I get it,
It
but
looks unfinished.
yeah, like very unfinished. Like, why doesn't it just drop what it's trying to hold up, shed that part so it's just one big clean Pokemon? In
Right.
my eye.
Then it wouldn't be the shedding Pokemon; it would just be a lizard.
Well, I mean, they could have, I mean, it can constantly shed and stuff, but you can clearly see like the white on its body should be yellow.
What's wrong with
So
white, Chris?
nothing. But um you can clearly see like the white outlines on its body should be yellow, but it's only holding up its skin from, like, it's holding up its pants, like it's not even trying to put the skin back around its face or anything. Like, it's just it's a this Pokemon irritates me. And I hate that, and I kind of hate that Ash has it.
You can't say that.
I can, because I mean, I don't like this Pokemon, and from what we've learned about Ash is he likes to focus on his Pokemon. I mean, this Pokemon, he finally gets the itch out from not having 6 Pokemon. So this is his 6 Pokemon on his belt, and we get this.
I mean, to be fair, in Kanto we got a Krabby.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, at least that made sense. This just doesn't.
Ash gets down to old Scraggy's level. Also, Scraggy.
Yes.
Let's come up with a better. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. I'm not gonna go as far as to say I want to kick him, but yeah. So he gets down to his level, and he's like, "Oh, so you're gonna be part of the team," and Pikachu's kind of trying to be the welcome wagon, and Scraggy gives Pikachu the mean mug, or in Pokemon parlance, the Leer, and Silent is like, "Oh, look, it knows Leer." Pikachu's kind of taken aback, and all of a sudden, Scraggy just rears back and he's just gonna just give him all the headbutt, and Pikachu like moves, and Scraggy eats dirt.
For real, like, why he was just born mad. Like, this I don't get. Like, Scraggy was just he came out of the egg and just like, I hate everything. I don't.
I was fine in that there egg.
That egg was everything. It was the greatest egg.
Don't you start now.
But Silent gets the bright idea that, I think it wants to train. So why don't you go and try to have a battle, Ash? And Ash was like, okay, let's go and do it. So he's like, Pikachu, are you up for it? And Pikachu's like, Pika! And from here, we go to a battlefield, and it's Scraggy, newly had Scraggy versus Ash's Pikachu that he's had for 10 years. So, fair battle.
And I think this is one of the first times this has happened that it's like an Ash Pokemon. So Ash is like kind of pulling the strings on the whole battle. So he kind of sits there and he's like, "All right, what does Scraggy know?" And we find out what we already knew, that it knows Leer and
Headbutt.
Headbutt. Ash is like, "Well, that's not much." Or no, Iris says, "Well, that's not much." And then Ash actually gets one on her. He's like, "Well, all Axu knows is Scratch and Dragon Rage." Which, I mean, look, I'll take Dragon Rage over Leer any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
For real. But I mean, it freaking Axu don't know how to control that freaking Dragon Rage yet. So she needs to get that underhand, right like yesterday.
Yeah, before it hurts somebody.
But from here, freaking Scraggy goes in and it tries to use its Leer and they go in for a headbutt, but Pikachu dodges it because Pikachu's a trained Pokemon. And Ash is like, all right, use Thunder Shock or maybe just a Thunder Jiggle. So Pikachu just takes its finger out and just lets out just a little bit of electricity, and it knocks Scraggly all the way back across the field on its butt. And Scraggy don't like that, Doug.
No, he didn't care for that one bit.
He starts stomping on the ground and throwing a fit like Ash used to do in season 1 when he would lose a battle.
And yeah, I mean, he's looking for a fight basically, and Iris kind of looks at Axu and is like, your little brother's kind of a pain. And Axu's like, Axu. and then we get the
welcome party.
We get the welcome wagon, so we get P-Dove and Oshawott and Snivy and Tepig, and P-Dove is the first brave soul. He comes up and kind of gives Scraggy a pat on the back and gets a headbutt for its trouble, and P-Dove is like, did that motherfucker just headbutt me?
And then just freaks the hell out, because you can tell P-Dove is still a baby, and P-Dove is like, oh my god, that hurt, and just starts and runs back to its party.
And then this part, I legitimately laughed out loud here, because I've been with you out and I've seen this happen. So the next Pokemon up is Oshawott, and Oshawott's kind of got some swagger about him, and he kind of extends his hand for a handshake, and I would say Scraggy didn't even hit Oshawott as hard as he hit P-Dove. But Oshawott ain't taking no shit from nobody, and he's like, I'm gonna get this guy. And then all of a sudden you see who all had to jump in and
it was Tepig and Pikachu.
Pikachu and Tepig had to pull him back. And Oshawott's like, let me at that motherfucker. I'm gonna get, and then he gets free, and he gets a headbutt for his trouble, and he loses his shell, and Scraggy kind of walks over and stands on it like Chris Jericho used to do the one-legged pin, and Oshawott, he must not have been standing on it with much pressure, because Oshawott just walks over and just takes it, and then
jumps into the air and just smacks Scraggy in the face.
And Scraggy's out. I mean, but he gets right back up, and then in the process of him standing back up, he headbutts Ash, so Ash is getting it too. And
Scraggy is having a bad morning.
I mean, we're basically in a scrap off between Scraggy and Oshawott. Oshawott uses water gun. Scraggy pulls up the bit of skin and kind of uses that as a
shield.
What you call it? A shield. Thank you. Or what you call it. And they're like, oh, Scraggy's kind of got some initiative and some. There's a word that I can't think of. And it's gonna bug me, but he's thinking
He's
he
thinking on
improvised
his
a little
feet.
bit, thinking on his feet, and we see that he's standing in front of Tepig, and he turns around, and
Tepig catches all
uh,
of that headbutt.
Scraggy's like, "Oh, you want some too?" Bang.
So, and I want to point out everybody because it kind of confused me for a second as to why Ash is letting this go on. Ash has not caught, even though Scraggy has hatched. Scraggy has no trainer yet. So
I take issue with this.
So the way that they have Scraggy in this episode is Scraggy is a wild Pokemon right now. So he is a wild Pokemon going apeshit on everybody, and he doesn't have to listen to anybody because he has no trainer. So everyone's telling him to stop, and he doesn't have to listen because you're not the boss of me, and you say you have
Bullshit.
issue.
Bullshit. Because look, I'm coming at it from like I say, I stopped playing the games Ruby and Sapphire. So I mean,
Yes.
I'm a couple generations removed. I understand that. But when I went to the breeding center
And you were
and
given an egg.
I got my egg, and that egg hatched after I went up and down the bike path for 15 minutes, I got that Pokemon.
Yes, you did.
And I had to have an open spot for it too.
Yes, it took the spot of the egg.
Right. So, well, that's true as well. So, don't sit there and tell me that he has to catch this motherfucker. That's implied.
Well, remember with Togepi, Doug, even dating all the way back to the Kanto region, Togepi picked its trainer, and
I wish Togepi was cute.
Misty never caught Togepi.
Yeah, that's right. I ain't never seen Togepi in no Pokeball.
Because it doesn't it sleeps out, it curls itself up into an egg when it goes to sleep, and then it wakes up and Misty grabs it and loses it every other day.
And grabs it and loses it.
So
That's true. You know, I mean, who are we to say? But Pikachu is Ash's Pokemon.
yes, but Pikachu does have a Pokeball. Pikachu was caught. Pikachu's been in a Pokeball before.
That's true as well. God damn it. I still say it's bullshit.
It is bullshit because it's a difference between a video game and the animated cartoon.
Just making up rules as you go along at this point.
But all right, so we're back. We're back in on the episode, and we look at Scraggy, who has stars for eyes because it just headbutt the mess out of Tepig, and Tepig is kind of confused because I mean it seems like it hurt just a little bit, but he's like, did this food just headbutt me? Like, what the hell just happened? And Scraggy is trying to catch his footing. Iris is laughing at Scraggy because Scraggy can't walk straight, and Scraggy then sees Snivy, and Snivy, being Snivy, is standing on top of a rock, and Scraggy tries to go in and headbutt it, and Snivy just jumps off the rock, and freaking Scraggy just goes and headbutts the mess out of that rock, and he's dizzy again.
I feel Snivy so much in that moment. He's like, I am not having this at all.
To the point where freaking Scraggy got mad, and it's like, oh, you're gonna move away from me when I try to headbutt you? And then Snivy just so gracefully just takes its vines and floats the vines up and puts it on Scraggy's head and just holds Scraggy back until Scraggy can calm the fuck down.
And so then you know, Scraggy recovers, gets Ash in the chin again, and is ready for a fight. Turns around and sees Axu, and Axu just disappears in Iris's air. Axu ain't want no smoke.
At least Axu was smart enough to hide. Like,
Yeah, right.
the rest of Ash's Pokemon had no choice but to be out there because they're out of their Pokeball. But all right, so Doug, I know you just went over like the last couple seconds of that other scene, but here's your part to shine with Team Rocket, bro.
So we're back, and it looks like we're back at the train station. Kind of looks like train tracks.
Yeah, it looks like a
And we zoom in, and looks like we're underground. And Team Rocket, that's right, we remembered who Team Rocket were. They are on on a conference call. He's confirming the meeting for tonight, and he says, don't be late. And you see Team Rocket's looking at their schematics and looking at the rendezvous point for the later on in the evening. And then we go back to the campsite. Looks like we're like in some canyon, and the trainers are sitting at a table. They're having their supper, and the Pokemon are eating out of their Pokeballs. And we see Scraggy is by himself on a rock, has no food. I'm gonna be by myself because I'm a kid, and I'm brooding, and I'm pissed off because I lost. And Ash is like, "Is that true? You're a little butthurt?" And Scraggy's like, "Meh." And Axu, for some reason, this was the transition. Axu goes, "Axu," and then we're back with Team Rocket. They're dressed in their best spy attire, and they're with the hats and shit. And they approach the building, and Meowth gives the coordinates again, and we fade out, and we fade back into the campsite, and we see that they left the food out. I'm assuming for Scraggy because he didn't eat at dinner. And we see that everybody else is getting ready for bed. And Iris says, "Well, that's all well and good, but Scraggy really needs to become more social." Ash, says, "Well, I think it's time you go to your Pokeball," which I guess wouldn't be his Pokeball yet, because like you pointed out, he hasn't been in one yet.
No.
And Scraggy wants no part of going in a Pokeball. And Ash is kind of like, "Why don't you want to go in a Pokeball?" And like I said, Scraggy should just point at Pikachu and go, "Exhibit A." Like, you're letting him run around. Like, what,
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that ball if you got a Pikachu that's just walking around.
You got a Pikachu that...
And Axu's not even in its Pokeball.
So really, he's got two examples of... I mean, that's two strikes against Pokeballs right there.
Yes.
Scraggy has no shot.
So, all right. So from here, Axu wakes up and notices that Scraggy is gone, and wakes up Iris. Iris wakes up Ash and Silent, and everyone's like, "Well, shit." And I want to note that
Ash has a good line. It's a completely throwaway line, but I laughed the way he said it, because Iris looks at Ash and goes, "Scraggy's gone," and he goes, "You're joking." That's the way.
like I don't give a fuck about Scraggy. Just let him run somewhere. I don't care.
Let him go. You saw me offer him a Pokeball.
So, all right, and then we jump straight from him saying "you're kidding," and they're walking around. They're like, "Scraggy, where are you?" And I want to make note. They were sleeping on straight gravel instead of climbing the little hill that there was and just sleeping where the grass was.
Right.
I mean, want to point that out. Like right now. Like it kind of
look. I've been tired before, right?
Yes.
I've been like exhausted, and I still had enough wherewithal to take a shower and get in the bed.
Yes.
Like, you didn't find me the next morning on my floor. Like, I mean, I'll take some effort if it means I could be comfortable. I I mean to be fair, I have not been like drop dead tired. I've been close.
Oh,
I can't.
I've been there. I've
But
been drop dead tired before. It's
but you made it
scary.
to a couch or something.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I crashed. But they don't have that option right now. But I mean, I still would have taken grass over the just straight up dirt.
Right. Especially like you said, it was just up a ridge. It wasn't even like, oh, if we go a few miles down the path here.
Yeah, for real. But all right, everybody. So um Axu is running around and it finds freaking or it finds Scraggy, and Scraggy is over by a big old tree, and it's just causing all sorts of problems. And when we walk up, you can just imagine what Scraggy was saying to this tree because it knew that there was Pokemon in there. So it looked like Scraggy was just like, and I'm sorry for any of our listeners that don't like it when I curse. I've been trying to calm it down, but he was mother in this tree. and and Scraggy gets called by Ash, and Scraggy turns around, and with him mother in this tree, a freaking um uh, Galvantula walks out and is like, "What did you just say?" And a Galvantula is an
I
electric
know you.
spider.
I know you weren't talking to me.
For real. so so we go straight from this, and Iris is like, "Oh my gosh, that's a Granvantula. It's an electric type spider Pokemon." And freaking Axu just jumps back into her hair, and and Ash takes out Dexter, and it's like Granvantula, the Ella spider Pokemon. Get it? Electric spider Pokemon.
Didn't get it on first watch. Not gonna lie to you.
But instead of shooting just regular webs, it shoots electric webs from its threads inside of its body. So
Kinda
Scraggy,
dope.
what's up?
Kinda dope.
Yeah, it is kind of dope.
I should have tried to catch one.
he, yeah, he forgot his Pokeballs back at camp, and they're
Son
getting
of a bitch.
taken by Team Rocket unbeknownst to
Right.
him. But all right, so Scraggy is sitting there and it's trying to fight these damn spiders, and Scraggy is like, "You know what? I'm still gonna win." And then we go to who's that Pokemon, and it's a Scraggy, and
I'd have been so pissed if it was something else. If it was
Jigglypuff.
Galvantula or something. Jigglypuff just out of nowhere.
So
Not even in this region.
I know. But Ash is running towards Scraggy, and Scraggy looks determined and angry, and it's like, "I'm gonna headbutt this spider," and everyone's like, "No, don't!" And freaking this spider has an electric ball comes out, and then it does electro web, and it just shocks the mess out of Scraggy, and Scraggy's only a level 1 Pokemon, so it goes flying, and the spider does another electric ball, but Pikachu catches that ball and does a thunderbolt attack and sends the spiders just flying back into the tree. And the spiders are going back to sleep, and Scraggy is done.
And well, yeah, done. I was gonna say pissed, but just done and just exhausted. Well, and he's kind of. I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I mentioned Joshua being drunk, and Scraggy has like one last burst of energy where he gets up and he like kind of very half-hearted goes back towards the tree and just kind of Ash is like, "Hey, you shouldn't," and he just kind of collapses.
For real. But all right. So you want to go over this next part in the scene, Doug? We're back at camp.
So yeah, after we find out that there's no Pokemon Center within walking distance, Axu and Iris go looking for roots to make a natural serum to to give to Scraggy to make him feel better, and Scraggy takes it. And he kind of has that little kid like that face, and
Like, I don't want this.
he takes a little bit of water to wash it down, and he just immediately just zonks out. And he and is it dirty pool to say that Ash missed a trick and not putting him in a Pokeball right there?
Kinda, because I think he would have had another Charizard thing. Like, I didn't want to be with you. You forced me.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So, but yeah, so he passes out, and we fade out, and then we see Team Rocket is waving in a
Helicopter.
helicopter.
And the helicopter goes down. It's a nice big Team Rocket helicopter, and it flies on top of the building, and then it flies away, and we see that Team Rocket is now inside of the helicopter. And we go straight into the helicopter, and um, we have um, Dr. Zag, and Dr. Zagger is like, "Where is the meteorite that you stole?" So they start looking over uh, the meteorite, and they have a nice little laser going back and forth across the meteorite, which then activates the meteorite. And Dr. Zeg he's sitting there. He's like, "This is what I was looking for. You can tell that this meteorite is not from this planet." And
And,
it glows a bright pink, Doug.
and the Team Rocket members kind of nod at each other, and we see the meteorite is turning colors, and um, Team Rocket wasn't prepared for this, and 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 Dr. Zager goes full mad scientist. He's like, "Yes, this is the reaction I was looking for," and it's the glowing is just getting more and more intense every time it passes through, and then it just
Stops.
calms down, and he's like frantic now. He's like, "We need to do further testing like as soon as possible," and looks at Team Rocket and says, "We're off to our next location," and they, yes, and then that's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's them for the episode. That's it.
So
Pisses me off
why does that why does out of anything does that piss you off?
because they're so cool in this season, and we just get little drip feeds of them. Give me an
Yeah.
episode. Give me a seat. Give me a Team Rocket seat. Give me a Team Rocket movie. God damn it,
Well, it was supposed to come, but we never get it.
bastards.
I know. So okay, so we go back, and Scraggy wakes up after they've revived it back to like okay health. He wakes up angry. This is just I would he this Pokemon has problems, and this episode is not doing it any justice for me to like this Pokemon anymore. I already don't like it. So he gets up and just starts walking away from Ash, Silent, and Iris, and just walks over to a tree.
He goes over to that tree again, and this time he's headbutting it. He's not just motherfucking it. He's headbutting that tree.
He's like, "Wake up, you damn spiders! Wake up, you spiders! I'm gonna beat you!" And this time, the spiders had babies.
Yes.
And all the spiders come out at this point, and Axu follows Scraggy and sees all the spiders come out. And Scraggy, he's not even scared this time. He's just looking at all these freaking spiders, and he's getting ready to motherfuck. But since it's a kid show, we kick it from that part of the scene, and Axu's going back, going, he's motherfucking the tree again, and all the spiders are out, and he's about to die. So they release all their Pokemon. Oh well,
Well, no,
Ash
no, now
does.
Ash.
Ash releases all his Pokemon, and they go running over to the tree again. And Scraggy is over there, and he's backed up against the tree, and he's looking at all of them. And he's like, "I'm about to headbutt you. I'm gonna headbutt you. I'm gonna you." And one of the freaking spiders was about to be a damn dick and catch him from behind. At least he's trying to at least face all these spiders. And one of the spiders tries to electrocute him from the back, but Pikachu catches it and thunderbolts it, and sends the spider away. And then we get a close up of Silent, Ash, and Iris just looking on with all of Ash's Pokemon just ready to do battle. And all these Gravoltulas go and just start trying to wreck house on these Pokemon. But freaking Ash's Pokemon seems like they've been doing more training than Ash did in the Pokemon League because they're ready. I had to
You know,
throw it in there.
they're basically just dealing with them. I mean, you know, the Dove uses Razor Wing, and um, Tepig is using Ember, and Oshawott using Razor Shell or Shell Blade. I think I don't know what they fucking call it, and he pull right before a Gravantula stomps on Oshawott. Snivy's able to swoop in and grab it with his Vine Whip. So I mean, we had a little bit of team effort there, which was nice. And
Yeah.
then Snivy gets him with Razor Leaf, or no, we know this move. Is it Leaf Tornado?
Yes. Leaf
It's
Tornado.
because yeah, they used it in battle before, and basically these Gravantulas are getting dealt with, and Pikachu is kind of the final period on the sentence, and the Gravantula goes scurrying back into the tree, and um, uh, Scraggy's kind of looking around like, "What the fuck just happened?"
He was so mad, but he was so appreciative. But they all get back to camp, and they're all eating their food, and Scraggy's eating all by himself, and Axu comes over with his own plate, not even trying to take Scraggy's food, to just say, "Hey, Scraggy, welcome to the gang." And Scraggy just turns his back to him, and then Axu just jumps to the other side. And he's like, "Hey, did you not see me? I was just trying to say hi." And Scraggy turns around again, and he's like, "Scraggy," and he turns his back to Axu again, and Axu is just getting all sorts of pissed off, and then they start butting heads, and they're going back and forth. And Silent comes up with the bright idea that these Pokemon are basically the same level. So why don't these two just battle it out, and they can trade each other? And Ash and Iris are like, "That's a great idea." And Ash is like, "I'm gonna whoop his ass," and just jump it back and forth. And then they start butting heads again. It was like, "I'm gonna beat you. No, I'm gonna beat you." So, Doug, this next part.
So, we're getting a little impromptu battle, and so Scraggy has the first attack, and it goes in for Leer, and it gets Axu, and he hits him with a headbutt, and Axu gets knocked back a little bit, doesn't fall, goes in and scratches him, and kind of spikes the football, and then Axu gets in close, so we just have scratch, 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 scratch. He's getting here's a 2-piece and here's a biscuit with it, and Scraggy hits him with a headbutt, and Axu gets up, and then Iris calls for Dragon Rage, and right at the peak of the the attack, like he's about to release it. Scraggy goes in for a headbutt, and it's a theme in these episodes because then the Dragon Rage gets knocked into Axu, and then we get an explosion, and then they're both sitting there with the anime swirls, and
Just both defeated.
and Silent goes, "I think it's gonna have to be a draw."
Gonna have to be. I mean, these Pokemon are freaking pathetic.
Oh,
They are.
boo, boo.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna be real with you real quick. Okay, so Scraggy is freaking a brand new Pokemon. In this episode, he's 1 day old. Okay,
Yes,
one
he's an
day old.
Aggie.
Yes. Axu is easily about 2 or 3 years old from what we've seen because we got their whole backstory.
Correct.
It couldn't even handle this damn Scraggy.
But that's not Axu's fault. That's Iris's fault.
Eh, yeah, I guess, but still.
If you can't kick a football, you don't blame your cleats. You're a bad kicker.
Yeah, you're a bad kicker. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, that's 100%, and I think it was even addressed in the episode. I mean, Iris just is not a trainer.
No, it's kind of pathetic. But we finally get the feel good moment, at least, that Ash um finally gets Scraggy to agree to go into the Pokeball.
Of course, he has to do it his way. He gives it one final headbutt, and he goes in. And I did this. I really didn't like, and I know it's such a minuscule thing, but the Pokeball does the whole. Oh, is he gonna catch it? Like we know he's gonna catch him.
Yes.
That kind of it's like, oh, we had to kill those last few seconds. I see. Because what happens if he would have just popped out and said, "Oh, just kidding," and he just ran?
And did the old anime like eye pull. He's like,
Yes.
nah. Uh,
The-
so I believe uh let's see. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Still haven't found it. I'm gonna find it by the end of this episode. I'm going to. So, all right, but yeah, that is this week's episode, Doug. So, what do you end up giving this week's episode?
3.5.
3.5?
And the half is only because the egg hatched. Otherwise, it would have been a 3, maybe even a 2.5. But
Gotcha.
I mean, like I say, the egg hatched, so it's a new Pokemon. Um, we see that Scraggy ain't gonna take no shit. Um, we got to see kind of the full gamut of Ash's Pokemon. Like, we got to see Bidove and Snivy, and obviously Tepig and Oshawott have gotten a lot of screen time. Um,
Doug?
cute in small doses.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm
to
gonna
me,
give
it's
this
easy.
episode. I'm gonna give this episode about a 2. I could take or leave anything in this episode, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's just I don't like Scraggy. It's one of the Pokemon that I just don't enjoy. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I knew it going into it. As soon as I saw um his name on here, I was like, oh geez, here we go. Here we go. We got a whole episode of a Pokemon that I don't like. But yeah,
I
not a
mean,
fan.
I see where that's coming from. I mean, if you don't like them, you don't like them.
Yeah, I don't like this Pokemon, and this Pokemon just he rubs me the wrong way. It's just I don't know, just a weird Pokemon. So all right, but I never did um find out what the name of that guy is, and it's gonna come as soon as we're done recording, and I'm gonna be like, son of a bitch. But yeah, I will have it next time. But all right, it's pack opening time. I have another Evolving Skies packet. So let's go ahead and get this open. All right. Ooh, I got a white card. All right. It ended on a good note. Doug, what energy am I about to look at? Try to pick something that you haven't picked in a while.
Water.
Damn, no, it's fighting. Yes. I have a Crustle, a Moon and Sun badge, Toy Catcher, a Mareep, a Wobbuffet, a Love Disc, a Dweeble, a Hippopotamus, a Rubber Gloves. And that the Rubber Gloves is my reverse holo, and then I have a holographic Ludicolo, which is a pretty good holographic card. So those are the cards. Go ahead and you'll be able to see them on our Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and that was about it. Say goodbye, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Have a good night, everybody.